I haven't had issues with Puff. I don't like him like that. Like I don't like things that he would do and make me uncomfortable.
So we're speaking on Diddy. We're speaking on Puff.
Yeah.
Okay.
The new lawsuit coming with Jay. The part with Jay. I go, oh shoot, like.
To us, Black excellence.
That had to be there.
We getting tighter. You know what I'm saying? And united we stand. And ain't nothing else.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. All right, but Jay, definitely not that. That's definitely not. It's just being competitive.
The new documentary by 50 Cent yells rather than whispers. This isn't your typical celebrity expose. It's a complete dismantling of the inner circle of the music industry. Additionally, Diddy and Jay-Z are directly targeted by it. Everyone is talking about 50 Cent's new documentary because of what it ultimately reveals, not because of what it depicts. Diddy, Jay-Z, and the subdued power structures that influenced hip-hop were the subject of rumors for decades.
2020, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black bill.
However, the quiet has now been broken. The man who helped reveal Sean Diddy Combs' purported wrongdoing in Netflix's The Reckoning, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, has made a comeback. And he's doing more than just recording scandal this time. He's dissecting the origins of hip-hop's power structure and identifying potential victims. 50's project does more than simply recount well-known tales. From Diddy's courtroom demise to Jay-Z's untouchable mystique, hip-hop history is being completely rewritten. The movie depicts an industry dominated by a small number of people, where silence was purchased, loyalty was negotiated, and image was produced, using insider testimony, court records, and unfiltered opinion. And what we've been referring to as success may have been carefully planned manipulation all along, if 50 is correct. It's among the most intriguing dynamics in hip-hop. One throne and three moguls. Fans conjectured about a conflict between 50 Cent and Jay-Z for years. However, it is completely reframed in the documentary. It was more than competitiveness or rivalry. Control over the history of hip-hop itself was at stake.
I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie, right? So you image yourself after a gay painter. Your big homie want to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
Minus 50 Cent is on one side. He's loud, uncensored, and not hesitant to call names. A self-made disruptor. He turned the facts into entertainment to build his business. Conversely, Jay-Z is composed, methodical, and incredibly strategic. He rose by playing chess while everyone else played checkers. And he was first a businessman and then a rapper. And Diddy, the ultimate connection, sat in the center of their ideologies. The man who used music as a tool for influence in parties, as rendezvous of power. However, Diddy wasn't only the life of the party in the 1950s. As the gatekeeper, he had the power to make or ruin a career. Additionally, insiders claim that one of the key participants in a system that determined who advanced and who fell behind. There was no competition. The documentary claims that what appeared to be friendly industrial rivalry was actually strategic control. As one source states in the movie, it was containment. While some names magically vanished, others continued to appear on business transactions, radio charts, and accolades. The movie suggests that those actions were carried out by the same individuals whom viewers viewed as heroes. One of the documentary's most shocking claims is that Diddy and Jay-Z might have been involved in a label-driven plot to covertly stifle up-and-coming East Coast talent. Why would they act in that way? Easy money. New York artists were managing their masters, demanding multi-million-dollar contracts, and establishing their own conditions by the early 2000s. The South, meanwhile, was thriving. Club recordings that sold well with less money, quicker production, and less expensive performers. One executive who was interviewed for the movie claims that the labels saw they could increase earnings by subtly diverting attention from the East Coast scene, cutting off resources, putting projects on hold, and excluding up-and-coming rappers who didn't fit the strategy were all part of it. According to the document, Jay-Z and Diddy, two guys with the power to set trends and the determination to maintain their own supremacy, were at the top of that hierarchy. The rise of 50 Cent is closely related to this hypothesis. After his early mixtape success, he was blackballed in New York, and not a single label in the city would touch him. He felt compelled to showcase his talent to Eminem and Dr. Dre on the West Coast, where he eventually made his breakthrough.
That's why you've never heard me say anything negative about him. You see what I'm saying? And also connected to like M, because M's our relationship. My Eminem is Dr. Dre is Eminem's. Eminem to me is what Dr. Dre is to Eminem.
Yeah.
So to disrespect him in any way is just you out of pocket. You're not even following the chain of command.
One former label insider states plainly in the documentary, they didn't want another 50 Cent. They desired quiet. Flipping the story that fans have been believing for years makes it a disturbing line. Despite the industry, 50's success might not have been a triumph. Perhaps it served as a warning or a reminder of the consequences of breaking the rules of the system. Jay-Z and Diddy's long-standing, frequently misinterpreted relationship is the one relationship that the documentary won't overlook. They have been portraying themselves as distinct titans for years. Only achievement and respect bind these two moguls, each with their own paths. However, the documentary 50s suggests something more profound, a covert partnership based on common secrets and interests.
Funny, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billion.
Even though Jay-Z's attorney openly denied any personal ties, while leading significant corporate collaborations that revolutionized hip-hop's financial paradigm. The two were frequently spotted together at charity galas, industry gatherings, and VIP parties. The documentary poses the most unsettling query at one point. What does it say about Diddy's companions if his fall from grace was this profound?
When Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. He had one.
And he didn't show up.
No, he had like 20 now.
Oh,
He had like 18 since he's been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
so you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no
marriage.
longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow. So that's the deal.
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
The movie makes reference to similar claims made in 2024 by a victim, who purportedly connected both moguls to the same incident. Jay-Z dismissed the rumor, and his legal team said nothing. However, the public started to re-examine those allegations with fresh skepticism following Diddy's conviction in 2025 on accusations of trafficking and exploitation. Although the documentary doesn't accuse Jay-Z of anything, it does raise concerns about how he has avoided punishment while so many of his contemporaries fall apart. Is it leverage or chance? The movie depicts a friendship based on strategy, a business group, masquerading as brotherhood through images, interviews, and court documents. Two men who knew that hitting was only one aspect of power. When the walls began to close in, it was about defending one another, stifling foes, and managing narratives. The documentary reaches its most contentious point at this point. The theory of the Beyoncé contract. Industry insiders and cultural analysts who appear in the movie claim that Jay-Z and Beyoncé's marriage was more than just a love affair. It was among the most well-thought-out business choices in the history of entertainment.
Jay-Z's career, you can look at that and say the association to Beyonce is when he started to receive the 16, 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce. Right? And you go, prior to that, one.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see the kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing.
Right.
They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys and shit. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them.
Jay-Z was well respected but divisive prior to Beyonce. Yes, he had street credibility, but he also had baggage, past court problems, rumors of dishonesty, and a cold, calculating character. Everything changed after they were married. Jay-Z was suddenly more than just a rapper. He represented aspiration, family, and black greatness. He and Beyonce become a billion-dollar brand, and the royal couple of American pop culture. The narrator of the documentary exposes it. The trophies started to pour in after he signed the contract. In just a few years, Jay-Z's reputation underwent a radical change. He was headlining presidential fundraisers, collaborating with high-end brands, and earning Grammys with
Why are you so on top of the business side of Jay-Z? You know what I'm saying? Some people like to just be an artist.
Yeah, I was actually forced to be an artist and a businessman because when I tried to get a deal, I couldn't get a deal. So I had to create Rockefeller Records. We actually created Rockefeller Records from nothing. And, you know, so I was forced to know both sides of the business.
ease. The marriage, according to critics cited in the movie, not only improved Jay's profile, but also gave it legitimacy. He was able to erase previous controversies and reposition himself as untouchable by associating himself with Beyoncé's immaculate image. But the love story isn't for everyone. According to some of the documentary's sources, Beyoncé's power over Jay-Z has turned into a sort of business partnership in which money, power, and image conflate to make it difficult to distinguish between leverage and love. The narrator provides an excellent summary. Was it reinforcement or romance?
It's just a lot going on behind closed doors. That's only one case that we withdrew for right now. But it's a lot going on. You know how this industry works. These judges, these lawyers, these high celebrity people, they try to use all different types of tactics and call it what you want, bully tactics and different types of stuff to, you know, slow it down and just change the narrative. So it's like
love and power frequently made the same agreement in this game. The documentary shifts to one of Jay-Z's most intimate and protracted conflicts, the Ramir Satterthwaite paternity saga, just when viewers believe it can go no further. Ramir Satterthwaite has maintained that Jay-Z is his biological father for over 10 years, an allegation that has been rejected by the court, but has never been completely silenced. And the documentary, which follows every turn of a case that won't go away, gives the narrative fresh life. Lily Conley, Ramir Satterthwaite's godmother and longtime legal guardian, is shown as a lady on the edge who has fought a court system far larger than herself for years, rather than as someone looking for celebrity. The document demonstrates how Conley has accused the New Jersey Attorney General's office of falsifying court records in order to prevent Jay-Z from ever undergoing a DNA test through archive interviews, court records, and poignant voiceovers.
All the stuff being a victim of fraud. Because the underlying issues with this case is dealing with void orders, fraudulent things, attorneys knew. Now, most of you know, this is all about money. In the very beginning, it started out, of course, me doing the complaint.
Even as Conley filed further appeals, petitions, and federal complaints, she said the courts consistently avoided responsibility by claiming they lacked authority. The most recent papers, which are depicted in the movie, go even farther, claiming that state officials falsified earlier decisions to obstruct her case and that the pressure has left her mentally damaged and bankrupt. She alleges that people in positions of authority and influence have methodically silenced her, put liens on her property, and emptied her bank accounts.
I had to go to bankruptcy court. And the reason why I went to bankruptcy court was to have them help me with what they call an adversary complaint. An adversary complaint deals with my inheritance, which was my property that had a legal lien on it. Because the underlying issues with this case is dealing with void orders, fraudulent things, all things were used to put a lien.
In one footage, her voice quivers as she speaks. Money is no longer a factor. It has to do with the truth, and it's okay if the truth costs me everything. Neither guilt nor innocence are declared in the documentary. Rather, it poses an eerie query. What else has the system concealed if it is willing to go to such lengths to shield one man? This plot is used by 50 Cent as a metaphor for a bigger idea, the manner that wealth protects the powerful. As the segment ends with split-screen footage, he states in a voiceover, when the powerful hide behind paperwork, truth becomes the first casualty. Jay-Z's empire and Ramir's faded childhood photos serve as a subtle warning that the truth, no matter how hidden, always finds a way to surface. The movie then shifts from the courtroom to the boardroom, where it looks at Jay-Z's billion-dollar deal with the NFL and the consequences it had on Black America when he agreed to spearhead the league's social justice efforts following Colin Kaepernick's protests. Many refer to it as a turning point, a step that would at last allow black voices and hip-hop to be heard. However, that collaboration is presented as something very different in 50 Cent's documentary A Transaction, rather than a metamorphosis. In archive footage, critics such as Dame Dash characterized Jay's agreement, a betrayal masquerading as advancement. We were entertaining instead of kneeling. We didn't fight for that movement. According to Dame, the documentary juxtaposes footage of Colin Kaepernick, who is still unsigned and essentially banned from the NFL, with the league's glamorous halftime concerts that showcase black artists selected by Jay-Z's Rock Nation. The movie delves further into how Jay-Z's relationship with the NFL changed his public image, turning him from rebel to corporate ally. As one critic puts it, representation without resistance isn't progress, it's performance. From the people's voice to the gatekeeper of the powerful. Additionally, 50 poses an awkward query through its narration. When does opposing the system become an act of service to it? It's a scathing critique of how activism can be watered down and marketed, and how millionaires frequently end up becoming the very thing they once professed to oppose. This is the area that most clearly divides audiences. The section of the documentary where Jay-Z's polished persona is stripped away in his early years, when popularity was only starting to solidify into power, are highlighted. Unsettling recollections from the 1990s and early 2000s are recounted by former associates, promoters, and former business insiders. tales of conceit, secrecy, and a man who was already acting like a king or queen before he had even been given a crown. One particularly noteworthy tale is related by a former Cancun club producer who describes a heated argument at an upscale gathering. He claims that until the scenario nearly descended into violence, Jay-Z was late, disregarded local hosts, and disregarded security requests. The man remembers that he appeared untouchable, as if the rules no longer applied. The movie also re-examines the long-standing claims that Jay-Z shunned DNA testing in previous court cases and cut off contact with anyone who might have ruined his story. The documentary gathers a pattern, a recurrent theme of control, secrecy, and silence. Even though it doesn't make any fresh claims, 50's voice is deep as he talks over vintage video of Jay-Z performing in the 1990s. People are revealed by power, not changed by it. An unsettling montage concludes this segment. Press releases from corporations are replacing tabloid headlines. It tells the tale of how image supplanted individuality and how truth became optional throughout the ascent. From the streets to the suite, when viewers believe they have seen everything, 50 reveals even more about the machine itself, going beyond any one artist. This section reveals what 50 Cent refers to as the invisible hand, the covert network of business people, radio hosts, and financiers who subtly control what the public sees, hears, and celebrates. 50's insiders claim that anything can be engineered, including release dates, radio playlists, and award nominations. One anonymous source claims, if a song threatens the wrong people's profits, it disappears. If an artist gets too independent, they get labeled difficult. The film connects dots across decades, showing how artists like 50 Cent, Kanye West, and even Lauryn Hill faced pushback after challenging corporate control. Through visual times, viewers see how major award winners and chart toppers often trace back to the same few conglomerates. A handful of billionaires deciding who the culture celebrates. 50 sums it up with one cold line. It's not who raps best, it's who the system bets on. The implication is clear. Hip-hop's biggest empire might not be a record label. It's the illusion of freedom itself. As the film builds toward its finale, it returns to the people, the artists, fans, and dreamers who built hip-hop from the ground up. In interviews, younger rappers describe 50 Cent as present, reachable, and real, someone who never lost touch with his audience. Meanwhile, Jay-Z is portrayed as distant, enigmatic, and insulated behind layers of security, lawyers, and billion-dollar ventures. This contrast becomes the emotional heartbeat of the documentary. In a culture built by the streets, one voiceover asks, which image earns loyalty? The unattainable icon or the reachable hustler? The doc doesn't give an easy answer. Instead, it leaves viewers questioning what hip-hop has become, a reflection of the people or a mirror for corporate America. 50's final statement in this section delivers a quiet gut punch. Silence protects the powerful, but voice, even when it's messy, protects the culture. In the final act, the screen fades to black before 50's voice cuts through. Diddy wasn't the end. He was the beginning. The documentary closes with hints of a sequel, a follow-up project rumored to expose even more about Jay-Z's empire, sealed documents, undisclosed settlements, and forgotten testimonies that could rewrite everything the public believes about hip-hop's elite. As 50 stands in front of a wall of newspaper clippings and court records, his final line echoes like a warning. The truth don't expire. It just waits for someone fearless enough to tell it. The credits roll to the sound of 50's 2003 hit Many Men, remixed with clips of courtroom reporters, flashing cameras, and a single word on screen, to be continued. From Diddy's conviction to Jassie's alleged cover-ups, 50 Cent's new documentary forces us to question everything we thought we knew about hip-hop's hierarchy. Was success earned or engineered? Let us know your thoughts in comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like this video to support the channel. Subscribe to Holly Hype TV for the latest updates and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Until next time, peace.